Hello everyone, this is part 4 of What If Naruto was the 10th Jinchuuriki, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Kakashi and Yamato's eyes widened when they saw their team leaving in such a hurry, and it's safe to say that they were even more disturbed when they saw who was following them. It seems that Sasuke heard that Itachi was alive. He gathered a team. Kakashi murmured. Yamato nodded. They're all from Orochimaru's lot, he said softly. Then his head shot up from watching the forest floor. The Sakura Bayou is leading them. You mean, they know what we did? Kakashi asked, looking at his friend. Do they know all that we do? Possibly not. Well, it goes without saying that we should go after them. Both shinobi sighed and dashed off ahead, taking the shortcut route. And I was hoping to finish the chapter I was on. Kakashi thought absent-mindedly, thinking of his book. Then he was suddenly reminded of his past. Maybe it was this makeshift mission Naruto and the others had just embarked on. Kakashi sat in the sunshine with Obito and Rin. They'd arrived late for training, but their sensei was nowhere to be seen. He was sat lazily against the wall surrounding Konoha while Obito was kicking at a tuft of grass. The warm sun, however, proved too tempting for Rin. She was laid on the grass smiling, that is, until a bit of dirt landed on her face. Obito. She sat up in annoyance, but the boy just grinned, adjusting his goggles slightly. Rin smiled a bit and turned to Kakashi, who looked away, pretending he hadn't noticed the two other genin. They were such a bother. They all squinted in the direction of a twig snapping noise. Coming over the horizon was a tall, slim man with shaggy blonde hair, held back by only a blue Konoha headband across his forehead. He was wearing dark commonplace ninja wear but with a long white and red coat. Minato-kun. Rin and Obito called out. Hokage-sensei. Kakashi murmured, correcting them. The man before them smiled his broad, cheerful smile, rubbing the back of his head. Hey, no problem Kakashi-kun. He looked at Kakashi's expression of distaste and stopped smiling. Well, actually, you can call me whatever you want, but I'm your friend too. He sighed. Kakashi-kun, are you angry that I'm late? Yes. Minato-sensei. The boy murmured. Well, there is a reason for it. You three need to learn patience. Life is not to be rushed, or else before you know it, it is over. And you're alone. He paused for effect. It's the inevitable end. Great way to cheer us up, sensei. Rin folded her arms. Yondaime smiled. It's not that depressing. When you then the next generation is free to build on the foundations that you laid. We are always building on what the previous generation left behind for us. This is the way it has always been, and it's good. But what if we tomorrow, sensei? That's always a possibility, but if it's true, then your influence will still always be there for people to build on. Your life will always warm a heart that would otherwise be cold. As shinobi, we would for what we believe in, live for. Is that a bad thing? He smiled. When I have a child, I hope that they will be influenced by you three in a huge way. They will then surely become a great ninja. Are you and Kushina-sama having a baby? Rin asked, lighting up at the thought. Yondaime looked at her and smiled, a little embarrassed. No, but someday, yeah. My uncle's having a baby. Obito chimed in. He says he wants a boy called Itachi. You look after that child, Obito-kun, he's important to you, right? We should always protect those close to you. Kakashi doesn't. Obito pouted. Yondaime laughed. I'm sure he would if any of you were in danger. Kakashi stopped thinking about them. It wouldn't help his current friends to think about lost ones. He summoned a small dog. Tell Tsunade-sama about this. The dog nodded and left. Yondaime sat with his wife on the roof. He'd been reluctant to come out, but Kushina had been so persistent in asking that he'd finally conceded defeat. It was risky, but only for a short while. Show him to me, Kushina whispered. Minato looked at the redhead and smiled. You only saw him yesterday. I know, but I've been thinking about him a lot today. Please. She was tired, he could tell. Her conversation with that masked guy, Toby, had been tiring. Close your eyes, Minato said softly, her forehead. He closed his own eyes and found Konoha. He's not there. She sounded disappointed. Not a problem, he must be on a mission. The man smiled, I'll find him. They saw the blonde boy running through some woods, with Sakura and the other one, Sai. They were grim-faced and anxious. Naruto's face was set and the light gone from his eyes. His girlfriend was biting her lip as she led the other two onwards. Where's Yamato or Kakashi-kun? Kushina wondered, furrowing her brow. They're an incomplete team. Minato concentrated. They're heading in the same direction just about 14 meters to the west. He expanded his consciousness, curious about where they were going. His eyes shot open as he noticed it. Then Kisame ran out to the roof and caught their arms. Kakashi and Yamato found us earlier today. I'm extremely sorry that you weren't notified. Here. Kushina's eyes widened and she stood at the edge of the rooftop. When will they arrive? 9 minutes, at the current pace, make preparations. Minato shouted, standing up and pulling his wife back from the edge. We have to go inside, you're still weak. I want to see. Let go of me. No. Kushina-chan. He took hold of her hand, never. She turned to him and laughed a little. Sorry, I guess I kind of overreacted, hey. She turned away from the edge and allowed her husband to help her inside. You're right, I'm still recovering from that illness. Yeah. They went inside, but not before Yondaime pulled Kisame close and muttered, call the others here, this is a siege. My wife and I will be in that room. Understood. Naruto kept an eye on Sakura's back. She seemed to know exactly where to go, though she was constantly checking the area around her as though she'd never been here before. Maybe it's the Bayou. Is she ashamed of it? Well, you hardly announce it to the world, right? I guess so. I wish I could help her, but our experiences are too different. All I can do is be there for her. They kept going through the woods until Sakura began to slow down. We're almost there. Naruto swallowed. This was it. They came to a stop in a small town near the borders, still in the fire country. Before them was a battered-looking building in the town center. Red paint flaked off the wooden structure and green lettering on the sign above the door was so damaged that it wasn't even forming recognizable words. Naruto's eyes flickered up to the silhouette of the roof. A good 4 stories up, he'd thought that there was someone up there. This it? Came Sai's voice from Naruto's right. The pink-haired girl on Naruto's left nodded. Yes. Her voice was hoarse. Naruto looked at her, and her eyes were set. His, too, he knew were similar. They'd both faced revelations, but they'd cope. They always did. Team Heavy stopped. Sasuke, Karen, Juugo and Sugetsu crouched in the trees, hiding their presences from the young ninja before them. Karen looked at the building in front as Sasuke looked at her, waiting for the report. Yes, Sasuke, your brother is inside. But there's something else. She furrowed her brow. This couldn't be right. What now? Sugetsu sighed, glancing at her half amused, half pissed with the girl who was constantly fawning over their leader. She glared at him with her mouth twisted into a pout. There are 2 people in a safe room and they're very similar to that blonde boy. Naruto. Sasuke corrected. The teammates looked at him. Juugo looked down. Similar how? The girl twisted some of her spiky hair round her finger. Like relatives. But didn't Sasuke say that the kid was alone? Yeah. Come on Sasuke, why'd you say that? Lying to us. Sugetsu pouted, imitating Karen and batting his eyelashes. She swatted him over the head. Ouch. Sasuke looked at the building in front of them, thinking deeply. Is it true? Are there relatives of Naruto inside there, with my brother? Yamato and Kakashi arrived near the younger ninja and were met with shocked faces. How did you know we'd come? Naruto asked, causing Sai to roll his eyes. It's not hard, assuming that we knew where this place was. He said, as Kakashi looked up at the building. How do we get in? Hinata or Neji would definitely be useful here. We have no idea what we'll find. I've gotten a message to Tsunade-sama and we'll get backup teams, within 2 hours I estimate. I thought that Jiraiya was out fighting the leader. Sakura whispered. But he's not here. Naruto looked at her in surprise. Ero Sennin. He asked, how do you know? The men all looked at her and she laughed a bit, embarrassed. Oh. It's not that I eavesdrop or anything. I just overhear sometimes, when I'm in the building. You listen in. Naruto blinked, a grin beginning to form. Sakura-chan, that's a bad thing to do. Shut up. She grabbed his jacket and snarled. I didn't mean to overhear. It's okay, Sakura-chan, everyone does bad things. Barker. Sai smiled, at least they weren't dark now. We'd better spread out. Yamato nodded and split them all into groups of 2, leaving Kakashi as the odd one out as he was most capable. With that Sharingan, Yamato paired with Naruto since he alone could control the Demon Fox chakra, and that left Sai and Sakura as a pair. Before separating though, Naruto and Sakura looked each other in the eyes. Naruto swallowed. Sakura-chan. I love you. The girl pulled him into AK. See you soon, Naruto. This won't be goodbye. They spread out and began their entry simultaneously. No. I've changed my mind. Minato held his wife close. His blue eyes on the door. The red-haired woman beside him held onto his arm and frowned. I don't want to kill our son, Minato, I know this is what we've worked so hard for, but knowing he's out there, fighting, so close. I know what you mean. The blonde man whispered. I don't think that we can do this. It goes against what we always believed before, that mission. His wife nodded. It was horrible, but can we really continue living this way? I don't believe that we have the right to take away the life of any young boy, let alone our own son. Do you remember? Before that mission we had such hopes for our child, should it ever come to us. Yondaime nodded. I wanted to teach him the Rasengan. I wanted to cook him ramen and see him surpass us both. I wanted to give him my coat, and that kunai. Kushina Uzumaki sighed. I wish we'd never gone to that place. Team Hebi, advance. Sasuke whispered. Minato and his wife walked through the abandoned village. They'd received an urgent S-rank mission from here and there were no Junin or Anbu around to take it, so the Hokage had left the village. There's no one here. Kushina whispered. Yondaime nodded and looked around, sickened by what he saw inside the houses. Indiscriminate K&T, the evidence was everywhere. How could anyone do this? This village wasn't influential, it didn't offend anyone or contain any treasures, these were poor people. Oh no. Kushina whispered. There's someone alive here, barely. Yondaime body flickered to where she was pointing. A small child lay on the floor with a deep gash across her torso and evidence of small, localized, controlled burns over her arms, legs and face. One ear was missing. OS. Mo mother. Father. The girl tried to call, but it hurt her too much. Yondaime held onto her hand, his face grim. This girl was around 4 years old. She'd been played with and just left in the dirt. There was no chance that she would live for more than a couple of minutes. Who did this? Yondaime asked, putting a hand to her head. Kushina was still checking for survivors. A gang of bad people. Father asked him to spare us. He said he would do anything but then they, Papa. The girl began to cry, and then I've seen a lot of this. Came a voice from behind them. Minato turned to see a sand ninja team arrive on site. It's one of those gangs, I bet. How can you remain so calm? Came a female voice. Kushina had overheard too. They have T&K everyone here. For no reason. That, said the sand ninja, is the problem with Konoha shinobi. Or Konoha converts. Too sheltered. The other ninja nodded. This happens. People aren't good creatures, Uzumaki Kushina. Minato stepped out into the light. The sand ninja looked shocked. This was Konoha's Hokage. Forgive us. Konoha's yellow flash. Hokage. Sama. They all left. Kushina-chan. I don't know how anyone could do this. She looked at him with eyes full of tears. We need to find a way to stop it. Let's find another way. Minato whispered. Smiling. Kushina smiled too, but sadly. You make it sound so easy. Maybe it is. Yeah, maybe. Let's get out of here. Shunshin no jutsu. He whispered, holding onto her hand. His body flicker technique took them to the stairwell of the house. Time for our reunion. Naruto and Yamato were the first to gain entry. They easily took out some lower-level guards as the cam in through a ground-floor window. This is weird. Naruto mused, looking at the Anbu member of the team. Yamato nodded grimly. They were in a sparsely decorated room, exactly what you'd expect from a run-down, abandoned townhouse. Yamato looked up, remembering certain archaeological features about the house he'd noticed when last here. The leader must be on the top floor. Like levels in a video game. We beat the minions, we get to the boss. Right. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Several Narutos appeared and spread out to search the bottom floor for information and traps. Yamato smiled. He's making good use of that technique. Sakura and Sai went straight to the second floor after seeing Naruto and Yamato's entry point. Whipping out his pen, Sai created around 6 dogs to take out the guards in the corridors. Sakura, however, frowned. Why is it so easy? Kakashi ended up following Sai and Sakura, lending the young nin his dog summons, bringing out Pakken and some other hound. Pakken looked round at Sakura beseechingly. I wasn't the dog trusted with Tsunade-sama's message, he complained, as 3 guards entered the corridor from various doors. Sakura readied her fists and Sai smiled. Let's go butt ugly. Sakura used one of the guards as a club to hit Sai with. I thought we'd stopped with the nicknames. Damn straight. Who's he callin' ugly? Damn it. Keep going. Kakashi yelled as he took out another guard. Don't let your defenses fall. I know Kakashi-sensei. Sakura grinned, easily evading an enemy attack, before taking the offending man out with a punch to the face. Kakashi winced as he heard bones crack. Tsunade-sensei didn't mess around, you know. Kakashi smiled to himself. I know, he thought, proud at how his students had developed in character and ninjutsu. Well, he was not so proud of Sasuke, for obvious reasons. Sakura could definitely surpass the Godime Hokage, perhaps she already had. He knew that she had also been working on her genjutsu techniques, something that Tsunade could never quite seem to grasp. Sai, too, was an exceptional shinobi. His cool head in dire situations and his newfound bonds with his teammates possibly made him a more fitting teammate than Sasuke. He cared for Naruto and Sakura greatly, and, with the exception of a few derogatory nicknames, he held their feelings in high regard. He loved them as siblings. Kakashi readied his kunai. This was it. Time to go. No Akatsuki. Naruto was sure of it now. He and Yamato had now reached the second floor, only facing weaker ninja and guardsmen. This is getting really weird. You said it, kid. Time to go. No way, I'm not leaving everyone behind, especially not Sakura-chan. Wuss. Demon. Idiot. You seem to think that those are insults, boy. Oh, just go away. If I need you, I'll call, okay? You little bastard. Naruto mentally stuck his tongue out at the Bayou, but was snapped out of his daydream when the relative silence of the house was shattered by a long, heart-stopping scream. Sakura-chan. Yamato and the blonde boy ran along the corridor in the direction of the noise. Then they saw it. Itachi and Sakura facing off against each other, unconscious figures of Kakashi and Sai lying on the ground. Uchiha Itachi. Naruto exclaimed, his eyes widening as he saw Sakura's leg be streamed down her thigh from a large, open wound. Naruto, stay back, she warned. Don't let him get you. Her breaths were ragged and irregular, she was wobbly from B-loss and her eyes were closing. Sakura-chan. Naruto barged forwards and caught her round the waist, hiding his face in her shoulder. Come on, we'll get you somewhere safe. He couldn't believe it. She was leaving him. So soon. Everyone left him. Sasuke. His father. His sensei was unconscious beside him, as was his newest friend. Now the love of his life was in his arms. Itachi took his sword and raised it above his head. Too bad you were too late. You'll never meet the true leader now. Naruto opened his eyes with a jolt to see the girl standing beside him, her face contorted in worry. Are you all right? She asked, holding onto his arm tightly. He looked at her, speechless. Realization gradually dawned on him and he could have wept for happiness. Genjutsu, the Sharingan. The pink-haired girl nodded. Why are you so happy, you weirdo? Come on, we have to keep going. She took his hand and pulled him up another flight of stairs. Where are we going? Naruto asked, his mind still reeling from the illusion he'd been put under by, well, he'd assumed Itachi, but where was he? To the leader. Yamato's already up there and Sai and Kakashi are fighting Itachi right now. She pulled him forwards, urgently, green eyes narrowed in determination. I will make this leader pay for what he's done. Several Jinchuuriki needlessly, pursued Naruto for so long. I will not let them take Naruto away. Damn straight. Glad to get some support from you for once. Well, they're after you too, right? I don't really fancy being locked away forever either. I'm still selfish, I swear. You confuse me. How come you're the so-called Queen of the Bayou? Well, I'm not saying. So there. Shut up then, I need to focus on this. Oh. She stopped as she saw the figures before her. No way. The first thing she'd seen was Yamato's unconscious body at the top of the stairs. His eyes were closed, but after looking at him from the short distance that she was away from him, she was relieved to see that he was mostly unharmed. Small injuries only. Then she'd seen the red-haired woman standing nearby. She was beautiful. Her dark eyes sparkled like gemstones. She wore a slightly tight-fitted kimono, black with red clouds. From her ears dangled black metal earrings with red rubies, and she looked so utterly and completely sad. But that wasn't the biggest shock. The biggest and most terrible revelation was who stood behind her. Looking no different to the pictures she'd seen in the academy, in the Hokage building, in Konoha. Oh no, Naruto, we have to get Yamato and the others and get out. She hissed, looking back at the boy she loved, fear blossoming in her sea and dread gathering in the pit of her stomach. Sickened, she looked at the expression Naruto was wearing. God, it hurt her to see him this way. That's, the blonde shinobi stammered, looking at the man before him with injury and sadness. This meant, he sealed the QB inside me, knowing what Akatsuki would do. Because he was the one who would command it. Bastard. The furious cry, filled with so much hurt, didn't come from Naruto, rather, it came from the other half of him, the pink half. She was glaring at the image in front of them with daggers in her eyes. How could you who is respected above all other Hokages, you did this to your own son? To Naruto. The blonde man's eyes widened in horror as he saw that black-gloved fist coming right at him, failing to duck as it caught him square on the jaw. Minato. The red-haired woman cried, startled. Sakura turned to her. You're Uzumaki Kushina, right? She panted, her cheeks flushed from sheer fury, her green eyes glassy and unfocused. I've got something for you too. The fist flew at Naruto's mother. Sakura stood there, trembling as she watched the two ninja, who undoubtedly had more strength than her, allow themselves to be hit. How could you? Sakura whispered, her voice coming in hoarse, ragged breaths. Sakura-chan, it's okay. Naruto stood beside her, winding his fingers between hers. She blinked away tears. You don't need to fight on my behalf. The boy whispered gently. She looked at the two ninja who were slowly standing up, eyes averted. Yondaime and his wife. Both of them were crying too. Kushina wept in small sobs, whereas Minato stood silently with tears flowing down his face freely. Naruto, we're so sorry, for everything. I don't ask for forgiveness. I just want you to know. We do love you, Naruto. Kushina finished. Why? Naruto looked at them with nothing but the desire to know. So, we need to create the ultimate Beiyu. Yondaime asked the specialist. They were in a tavern far from Konoha's strong walls. To finish the evil. The small, balding man nodded. Yes, Hokage-sama. Keeping the 9 tails for last. It's currently, loose, which may cause a problem. Bang. The Hokage's fist came down on the table. Hard. I will not seal it inside anyone, you hear. His blue eyes, usually so warm, had hardened. I couldn't. Then you lose the chance to save everyone. You need to gather the strongest, most driven shinobi from all the countries. The most evil. Yondaime growled. In some respects, yes. You need them to extract the Beiyu and transfer it into the ultimate Beiyu. Yes. All 9. Yondaime leaned back in his chair, anxiously flicking his fingers on the table's edge. Why must they be already sealed? The man turned. So that they don't KO when you try to subdue them. I can't believe I'm even contemplating this. Yondaime hissed to himself. Then he thought of that village, the little girl. How do you seal a Beiyu? When Kushina was found to be pregnant, Yondaime's heart soared. They were having a child. But when realization dawned, and he remembered their purpose, his soaring heart dropped like a rock into his stomach. Damn it. He punched a wall, causing bits of plaster to flake off the otherwise neat building. Why does the world need to be fixed so badly? How could it get into such an extreme situation without anyone trying to stop it? Sitting in that room, watching their son battle with other shinobi, his heart so pure, so good, they found their answer, and it wasn't the answer they'd expected to find. It made them wiser, though the knowledge hurt. So it was all meaningless. Kushina whispered, eyes downcast. Yondaime smiled a small, sad smile. I don't believe that for a minute. He answered. His life has helped make him who he is. We set out to heal the world, and he is doing it now. All we have to do now is help him. How? Stop what we started. Again, I ask, how? Wait until he comes, then call off the Akatsuki long enough to explain. Then we fight them. Together. Sakura grimaced. This was hard. Trust them. Not trust them. She'd never forgive them, that would be too hard. Because of what they did, Naruto was beaten, bullied, hated by those he wished to protect. And it's no use me getting all righteous. I was as bad as them. I remember so many times, just turning away because, at first, my mother's hand guided me, then I turned him down when all he offered was one date, because I thought he was an idiot. Well, okay, he's still an idiot, but too kind. He'll forgive the bastards. Damn him. Yeah, he will, so I should too. Well, eventually I will, but for now, I'll go with whatever he decides. Sakura turned to look at the boy behind her. He had his eyes focused on her. As her eyes widened in surprise, he said, quite simply, as though it were the most natural thing in the world. Whatever you think, Sakura-chan. I trust you. Haha, you're F-girl. It's your choice if he leaves his parents or not. Well, oh whatever, tell me when you make a choice. Eep. Sakura turned to the most respected ninja ever to grace Konoha. How long do we have before Akatsuki show up? The blonde man looked at her, grinning. Damn it, why does he have to grin like Naruto? It just makes me want to trust him, damn it. 2 hours. Itachi and Kisame have been sent away. Sent away. You think they'll obey you? Sakura's mind recalled their faces. They were too cold, too powerful to be commanded. But Minato's face looked genuinely taken aback, as did his wife's. They hadn't even thought of it as a possibility. Of course they will. Before Sakura could say anything, a silver streak rushed past and caught Minato in a tight hug. Naruto sidled up to Sakura and put his chin on her shoulder, resting his head against hers. Looks like Kakashi-sensei heard the whole thing. He's glad to see his sensei again. The blonde Jinchuuriki murmured. Sakura couldn't help relaxing. They only had 2 hours, but she felt safe. Stop being mushy and concentrate on not letting us get C. Both Bayu practically screamed, causing their two vessels to wince. Yamato blinked and sat up. Oh yes. He smiled. Now I remember why I fainted. He beamed up at Yondaime placidly. Damn. Sakura sighed. Am I the only one who doesn't trust them? Looks that way. Her inhabitant laughed. Peals of way too happy laughter echoed around the inside of Sakura's skull. She put a hand to her head. Damn. Naruto looked at her in concern and understanding. They're getting louder, he whispered. Pulling her to him in an embrace, he narrowed his eyes in regret. I'm sorry, Sakura-chan. You're what, Barker? Nothing about anything is ever your fault. When have you ever done anything wrong? She smiled, forgetting for just a moment that they weren't alone. Naruto frowned. I didn't keep my promise, he whispered, so softly she barely caught the words. When she heard though, it was with pain. Forget your promise, we'll both bring him back. Together, remember. Kakashi looked back at the two young ninja. He was unable to stop himself feeling a moment of doubt. When Sasuke came back, would Sakura leave Naruto behind? Sakura's eyes glared up at him. Those sentiments, she'd felt them. In her heart, she'd felt Kakashi's doubts when he looked at her with Naruto. Kakashi-sensei. Her voice was filled with barely strained fury. The silver-haired Junin's visible eye widened slightly. What? She can't have, can she? Or geez, now I have to watch even my thoughts around the girl. Well, anyway, support from the village should arrive in around 2 hours too, so hopefully we won't be left alone with Akatsuki too long. We need to fortify the building. Akatsuki could arrive at any moment. 2 hours was what I told them. The fourth frowned a little at his student, holding up 2 fingers in a peace sign. But he couldn't hold that face for long after the reunion, and he grinned again. But I like your thinking, Kakashi. You should, Minato-sensei. Hokage-sama, you trained me. Kushina laughed and rolled up her sleeves to show curled fists. All right, let's get ready to pound those suckers. Yamato put a hand on her shoulder to stop her running off to prepare. Kushina-chan. We need a plan, darling. The man pulled her back and the red-haired woman squinted at him playfully. Then plan. We can't sit here and not do anything. Kushina pouted. Sakura and Naruto could not help but blink in unison at the couple before them. Creepy, thought Naruto, looking from his parents to Sakura. They're exactly like. Sakura looked back at Naruto. They're exactly like us. As if they'd read each other's minds, the two young ninjas exchanged weak smiles. Kakashi, Yamato and Sai, who had quietly entered the room, noticed the same thing and smiled. Even Sai smiled, one of his genuine ones, even if it was more of a mocking smirk. Let's do this, Kushina prodded. Naruto looked at his mother. Yeah, come on. No time to waste. They both ran off down the corridor, leaving their partners standing together watching them. Barker, Sakura muttered. That woman. Minato frowned. They looked at each other and sighed, trudging off after the two more energetic members of the group. Sakura couldn't help a small smile. Maybe these two aren't all bad. Team Hebi had surrounded the Akatsuki building at this point, Sasuke concentrating a little too hard, some would call it obsessing, on what Karen could have sensed when she said similar to Naruto's chakra, another Jinchuuriki. No, the Jinchuurikis had wildly different chakra signatures. He had learned that it was impossible to tell from simply sensing their chakra if they were a Jinchuuriki. He had decided to wait, eventually Itachi would come to them, this time, Sasuke would K him right. The Uchiha teenager looked up as Sugetsu approached. Hey, why, Sasuke? What do you want us to do? The man asked, tilting his head and letting his mid-length hair swing through the action. He grinned maliciously and produced a blade. How about we take care of those inside, huh? For a little fun to pass the time. Sasuke managed to hold back a grimace. He really had become the babysitter. Patience, you Barker. We'll have our fun soon. He frowned and pushed at the boy before him, who scampered off to inform Karanen, that bastard, Juugo. Sasuke looked out at the sky. Come swiftly unto me, brother. He silently bade the man who was always on his mind. Yamato and Kakashi were enjoying the relaxation period with some of Kushina's sake. My private stash, she'd said, quite simply. Yondaime had raised his eyebrows and laughed mildly when Sai asked him about the building's architecture, a weird response. Not really. Sai had nicknamed him Shaggy-sama, which Sakura maintains is his most accurate nickname to date. It wasn't meant to be funny. Sai whispered as he was left by the door by a tearing Minato. He leant against the door and sighed. I still have a lot to learn. Hey, where's Les and Ugly Dog? Kushina whipped around to glare at him. Minato, too, gave the boy a look that would K. Kakashi simply laughed and held up a hand of peace. They're on the roof, you must remember, Sai, this could be their last 2 hours together. Give them time. Yamato nodded in agreement. It's hard for them. Why? Sai asked, irritated. Why does it matter so much? If we S, that's the way of the ninja. We S for our mission, that's how it works. Maybe you're right, but what's harder than S, is being left behind. Kakashi whispered, catching his sensei's attention as a tear slipped under the mask he wore. Sai's expression softened, but not because of Kakashi. His eyes were distant, lost in some long-lost memory. Kushina opened her mouth to say something, but her husband put a hand on her arm to silence her. A gentle breeze ruffled Naruto's hair as he stood on the roof. His eyes were solemn and sincere as he looked at the girl standing not far in front of him, her back turned and her face hidden. He could hear the odd little sob that she tried to hide as she hastily wiped her eyes before clasping her hands in silent prayer. As the breeze picked up again, whipping pink tendrils about her head, Sakura turned to look at her lover. Leaves scattered around them. Naruto felt one land on his forehead and picked it off, looking at it somberly. For Konoha, it was all she had to say, and he knew that she was thinking like him. He smiled softly. For Konoha, he agreed. But that doesn't make it easier. I only ever wanted to. He swallowed. Sakura took some small steps forwards and rested her head on his shoulder. I only ever wanted to protect you. He lifted a hand and cupped her chin, looking closely at her face. That's all I ever wanted, and now, here we are about to fight all of Akatsuki together. This is hard. Sakura sighed. It's time to stop protecting me. Naruto, I'm not weak like before. You. Weak. That's not what I remember. Barker, shut up and let me finish. I'm not weak like before, so let me fight. We did say that we would fight together from now on. She pushed at his shoulder, but he resisted and pulled her into a tight embrace, clutching her shoulders. I understand, Sakura-chan. It's not that I think you're weak, I think the exact opposite. He grinned. It's just that's how I keep going. He kept smiling but looked a little embarrassed as he finished. I keep going for you. To protect that which is most precious. The girl smiled warmly and nestled into his coat. I guess I can understand that. You kind of drove me to She blushed and Kushina, who was watching from the trap door that led up to the roof, smiled. Don't worry children, words will come easier with time. You'll see. She slid back down the ladder to her husband who was looking up with smiling eyes. They're still a little awkward. He sighed, remember when we were like that? Kushina giggled. We were exactly like that. Should we tell them all that we know now? He sighed, I think that it's time, don't you? Way overdue in my opinion. Sakura's eyes closed. Don't you dare Barker. She whispered, her breath catching as she admitted the fear she felt. If it gets to that point, promise me that you'll leave before you get yourself healed. Naruto closed his eyes, fighting what he wanted to say, what he wanted to ask. You make it sound like you won't be the one doing the healing. I might not be. Sakura-chan. I can't promise that I'll leave you, I can't leave you. If I promise that, it will be on the condition that you do too. Quote. Sakura-chan. His voice trembled, it's not easy is it? Making a promise that it's impossible to keep. He stroked her hair, pulling pink strands between his fingers in an attempt to soothe. She just kept still, weeping quietly. No, it isn't easy, it's freaking impossible. She looked up at him with angry tears streaming down her face. But if you Naruto. I swear I'll kill you. Naruto laughed happily. Sakura-chan. You forget. I can't until I become Hokage. Rokudaime Naruto. Sounds good. She smiled, cheered by his unwavering optimism and dreams. Sounds right. She put her arms around his and him as though she would never get another chance. Soon it steeped her fingers in concentration. What to do, what to do, what to do. So while she waited, she did what she could. She sat back in her chair with a cup of sake, and faced the window. They'll be fine, they'll be just fine. Backup squads are on their way, the best we have. Allies from the sand are going to them too. Everything will be fine, they're young, but completely capable, they've defeated Akatsuki members before, but undefeatable too, at that. So why do I feel sick to my stomach like this? She knew, deep in her heart, she knew that at least one of Konoha's team would be lost today. Okay, remember people, we stand united as one team. Always fight with at least one comrade by your side. Kushina Uzumaki cheered as the ninjas all ran to the roof. Naruto and Sakura had joined the others again not long ago. Minato had decided to save their information until after the battle, because, none of us were less today. The other ninja had agreed to this and continued to prepare their safe house. Sai knew that Sakura was still struggling to trust Naruto's parents, so he'd been monitoring all interaction between them carefully. He knew the girl was intelligent, but she was a woman, and women were known to let their emotions affect important decisions. Like Naruto, he really is less. Sai mused, he contemplated voicing these musings but decided against it. He'd only end up with both females and Naruto turned on him, causing a divide in the group. But it's so tempting. Sai chewed his lip. Since he'd been uncovering emotions, he found teasing banter most to his liking. It got the adrenaline pumping. The 7 shinobi stood shoulder to shoulder on the roof, looking in the direction of the oncoming group. All the members were arriving together. Minato grinned at Kushina. It's been a little while since our last real fight, Kushina-chan. He put his hands together to summon his chakra and looked over to his son, who was smiling solemnly, like Kushina. They really are so alike. Both hyperactive in most circumstances, but as soon as someone precious to them is in danger, they become serious. Sakura, too, is concentrating hard. Hey Kakashi-kun. I'd love to see what techniques you've picked up in the last 16 years. Minato murmured, causing Kakashi to smile, closing his eyes in simple happiness. Oh yes, I can't wait to see your own Minato-sensei. He looked over at the ex-Hokage of Konoha. You know that Naruto here has completed the Rasengan. Well, I'd expect nothing less. Yondaime smiled, deciding not to tell them that he already knew. People got touchy about that sort of thing, you know, spying, without them knowing, on the personal lives. So sensitive. Remember, we are 2 hours after the emergency call. Be prepared to see Team Kakashi in bad shape. Ino. Shikamaru called back to his teammates. The blonde ninja behind him set her teeth. Damn you Sakura. I swear your whole team is nothing but trouble. If I end up being the only medic nin in this fight, I swear I'll kill you and that Barker Naruto. She clenched her fists in annoyance. The young man to Ino's side opened his eyes and pointed, that way. But it looks like they're just starting to fight now. That can only be a good thing. Are the other units nearby? Shikamaru asked, causing Neji to nod curtly. Units 1, 2, 4 and 7 are approaching now. But we'll still be the first to arrive, as planned. The boy behind them sniggered. No problem. Chuji grinned. We still on the original plan. Of course. Shikamaru glanced back at his friend. You ready? Hi, called the others in unison. Shikamaru hung back, allowing Chuji to take the leading place. Unit 3. Move out. I don't get it, Ino thought, unable to take her mind off recent events in Konoha. She was the queen of gossip and nothing went on in the village hidden in the leaves that she did not know about. But it had seemed that everyone else knew about Naruto and Sakura before her. You knew what he was before any of us. When did you begin to love him? When Ino had come back from a mission to find Chuji grinning stupidly and chatting to Shikamaru about how it was about time too, the kid deserves a bit of good luck. She had asked and found out that the two remaining members of Team 7 had gotten, well, close. Personally, Ino found the whole thing very disturbing. I mean, come on, he's just the annoying kid we knew in the academy, and he's the container for the nine-tailed fox. Don't you care? Unit 3 in position. She whispered into her earpiece, awaiting the army's leader's response. Understood. Team Kakashi's status. The rough male voice came quickly. No noticeable injuries, it looks like they haven't started the battle yet and, hang on a moment. Ino narrowed her blue eyes as she looked at the team standing on the rooftop. It looks like they have some allies. 2 ninjas are standing with them. 2. Description please. 1 is male. Tall. Blonde shaggy hair. Long white and red coat with flames and writing on it. The other is female. Mid-height. Red mid-length hair. Akatsuki-style kimono. Quote. Jiraiya Sama. I'm here. Shikamaru, don't advance just yet. Unit 1 is almost there. Wait for us. You sure? Shikamaru glanced at Ino doubtfully. Can I have some more information? Jiraiya sighed. Put me on a private wavelength, this could be important. Shikamaru obediently switched his earpiece to a private signal. Ino furrowed her brow in annoyance. This was a battle that could cost several lives. These guys had already beat Asuma-sensei and taken away the father-to-be's life. She watched as Shikamaru registered the information he received and flicked at a cigarette butt. He kept his face expressionless. Chuji and Neji waited patiently for the next order. There were 7 units that Ino knew of, but there were undoubtedly more than that coming. Unit 1 consisted of Jiraiya leading Hinata, Kiba and Shino. Unit 2 was led by Guy consisting of Lee and Tenten. Unit 3, led by Shikamaru with Chuji, Ino and Neji. Unit 4 was Sakura's parents led by a member of the Anbu. Unit 5 was led by Shizune and consisted of only medical ninjas. They were to arrive later to heal the wounded. Ino and Sakura were considered capable for early response. Unit 6 was purely Anbu members. Ino didn't recognize any of the names, but then again, they were Anbu. Finally, Unit 7. This was made up of the 2 Chunin that Sakura had taken the exam with. Nitsuki Daisuke and Matsueda Toru, 2 boys who both used earth attacks. They were accompanied by the Sand Ambassador Temari. Shikamaru turned his earpiece back to the main channel and frowned. Change of plan. We wait for Jiraiya Sama's unit to get here. Then we move as one. Gaara entered the Leaf Village's head office and walked over to the Hokage. He'd been contemplating this move for a good hour and needed to discuss it with his ally. Tsunade. He addressed her informally, as last time he tried to call her Hokage-sama, she tried to hit him. The blonde woman turned from the window and looked at him seriously. Gaara, are you contemplating the same move as me? The Kazekage smiled. I think I am. Then we're agreed. This is too important to simply send out the troops. We need to do what Kages always do when their village is in grave danger. I think it's time. Yes. Tsunade stood up, sighing. I think it is. Team Heavy. Go. That's all he said. It was all that he had to. The 4 of them moved with seamless synchronicity, separating Itachi from the rest of Akatsuki so quickly that even the Mangekyo Sharingan couldn't catch the moment that it happened. Not this again, little brother. You already came me once. Sasuke's face was impassive as he looked at his brother. Apparently once wasn't enough. Yondaime smiled. Now kids, you get to see why I was called Konoha's Yellow Flash before I became Hokage. This way. Hinata panted. They've just begun to fight now. Jiraiya nodded. Who are their allies? Kiba growled. You really think that they're his parents? He clenched his fist and Akamaru yapped angrily. They knew what that would mean. The parents who gave up their son to be a Jinchuuriki. Hinata concentrated on the images before her. Oh. What? Kiba practically yelled. I recognize one of them. Hinata's eyes widened as she registered the man's features. She flicked through her memories to try and place his countenance. It's. Oh, I think it looks like Yondaime Hokage-sama. She bit her lip. But that's impossible. Shino remained quiet throughout the exchange and sent out his bugs to investigate. Naruto noticed a small swarm coming in the direction and grinned. Backup just arrived. He was instantly joined by Shikamaru, Ino and Neji. Then loud yell was heard and a giant red boulder came hurtling down into the mass of Akatsuki. As Chuji's human boulder crashed into the small, quite surprised group of Akatsuki, the group on the roof were joined by 3 more of Konoha's army. Ero Sennin. Naruto grinned. The boy's father raised an eyebrow in slight amusement. Ero Sennin. That's more original than mine, which was just Ero Sensei. How are you, Jiraiya Sensei? The hermit Sannin frowned darkly. We'll talk later, Minato. For now, let's just K these guys. He glanced sidelong at the red-headed woman who wasn't too far away. Kushina. Jiraiya. She acknowledged, frowning at the memory of that time he peeked on her in the bath. Great, the perv's here now. And by the looks of it, he's in charge. The fight began. Sakura felt the technique take hold. Damn, these guys aren't messing around. Well, duh. How are the others doing? You can afford to stop concentrating. I can't. Hold on. Holding up fine. Idiot, you're the only one not paired up with anyone. Not for long. A blonde woman landed next to her. Hey Temari, come to help out an ally. The older girl smirked. Well yeah, the lazy S preferred Kankuro's help to mine. Ah well, with you, I won't S at least. Gee, thanks, I feel really wanted. Damn straight. Let's get this creepy bastard. And the 2 Kunoiki began their attack on the Akatsuki member before them. Kiss him. Naruto glanced over to the faint blob of pink at the other side of the battle. Good. She had help now. He brought up a regular Rasengan ball and used it on the nearest Akatsuki. Well, this is going quite well. Now that everyone's here, Akatsuki are so outnumbered by our allied forces that we're gonna win soon. His eyes widened. We're gonna win. Rasengan. The man who looked like an oversized plant lost consciousness and a cry of "Gatsuga" from Kiba soon saw the end of creepy plant man. They seem weaker than I remember. Kiba growled. A yellow-haired man appeared behind them. This is their true strength. Without me and Kushina, they're completely different. Well, that was fortunate. Right. Hey, Kiba, where are you going? The tall brown-haired boy turned to grin at him, riding astride his large wolf dog Akamaru. Hinata's fighting alone and it's not like you're without a teammate now. Naruto grinned. Thanks, Kiba. He grinned too. I'll tell you all about it later. Father and son turned their attention on a guy wearing an orange mask. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.